Thank you for having me on here.
No problem. Thank you so much for coming on. Now, talk about your recent series against Ohio State. It obviously didn't go your way, but what did you take away from it, and what did you learn from this series that's going to help your team moving forward?
Yeah, so we started out pretty good. We had a pretty good game on Friday. We thought we were playing pretty selfless and as a team, so we thought we came out pretty good out of that game. And then we also had some adversity this weekend with our goalie. We had both of our goalies out, so we had to call up a player from our student body that used to play goalie. So that was a little bit of an obstacle, but she played amazing on Friday. And then on Saturday, we got a little bit behind in the first period there, but I think we have a lot to learn from this weekend. We're just growing from here, I think.
Yeah, and how would you overall evaluate your freshman year hockey-wise?
I think it's definitely a little bit of an adjustment, but I think on and off the ice, I'm still learning how to be with the team, how the structures are on the ice, and I think that I'll learn quickly. I think I'm doing well.
Yeah, what's been the biggest adjustment you've had to make to college hockey since playing last year at Shattuck?
Yeah, honestly, for me, it's been a lot of like body contact stuff and learning how to play the body more. Because in high school, it was a lot of penalties if you kind of touch someone, they fell kind of thing. So I like that it's a lot more physical. I'm getting used to that, playing the body and stuff, because our coach Harrington really likes that sort of stuff. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, do you think hitting should be allowed in women's hockey? Like more like I feel like in my opinion it should be because I think it would make refereeing the game easier because I feel like if there's a ref that's like very strict about body checking, then it can have the whole it can change the way the game is played. And I think it should be kind of officiating should be similar across the board throughout games. It shouldn't be determined on which ref is refereeing a game or not.
right. No, for sure. I mean, it's definitely a big debate. I feel like I've always been like the one that's thought that we should check, but I don't know. There's both sides to it, but yeah, I definitely agree with that.
What's the biggest check you've ever thrown in a game? Has it happened this year since there's more body contact, like you've said?
Uh, I haven't thrown the body around too much this year, but definitely in my past years, I've gotten a few penalties. Definitely.
hmm Now, your team has been very successful so far this year. You've swept Merrimack and you beat the fifth-ranked team in the country, Minnesota Duluth. So, just talk about your team's performance so far this season, and what have you taken away from just the successes that you've had so far?
Yeah, so we came out to Merrimack and it was a fun trip out there. We did really well. Um, and then again, I think it was that next weekend we played Duluth, and that Friday we didn't have a great game, lost 7-0, and then we came back on Friday ready to go, and we came out 4-2, and that was awesome. That was probably the best game of the season for me personally. That was just super fun to be part of. We were just fired up after that, but I think we need to take those experiences and learn from what we did in those games and put them towards these games moving forward.
Yeah. And obviously, the first half of the season is coming to a close. So, what are you looking forward to the most in the second half of the season, and kind of what's your team's goal for the second half of the season?
Yeah, I definitely think playing those teams that we've played in our league again and just getting back to see how we can grow from each game. So it's like we played Wisconsin and lost 2-1, see if we can make it a close game or maybe even win. But yeah, I think that this next half of the season, we really just need to get gritty and start putting the pucks in the back of the net.
Yeah, and checking your schedule, you have some interesting games coming up. You play outside towards the January month. So, how excited are you to play outside? Have you ever done that before?
Yeah, actually, I think it was in 2011 we had a hockey day in Moorhead, and that's like something you look forward to from Minnesota, being from Minnesota. So I'm really excited for this. It's gonna be so cool being on a college team and on the outdoor rink at Blakesley Stadium. That's gonna be awesome.
And is like your approach change for those outdoor games? Like, how do you try to stay warm during those games? Because I feel like when you're playing, it's not that bad, but like on the bench, it's probably brutal just because your hands and feet are like going numb pretty much.
Right. No, yeah. Actually, now that I remember, we played my eighth grade year at Moorhead. On my high school team, we played, I think, Red Wing outside, and that was a really cold day. I remember. I don't even remember. I think maybe some people had hand warmers and stuff, and our goalie wore a hat, but that was, yeah, definitely chilly. Just got to keep moving.
No, how excited are you? What games are you looking forward to the most for the second half of the season?
I'm really pumped to go out to Madison and play them in their rink. I've heard it's one of the most fun rinks in women's hockey, so I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, you're also going against some Shattuck alumni there. How excited you see play against them at LeBron? Have you? I don't know if you've played Wisconsin this year yet or not.
Yeah, we played them. I feel like a few weeks ago, I think. But yeah, it's good to see some of the girls from when I used to play with them. They're fun to play with and again. So it's kind of weird to be on the other side of it, but it's fun to watch them play. They're good players.
Now, how was your off season this year? Did you do anything interesting, whether it was hockey related or non-hockey related?
Yeah. This summer we got to come down to Mankato and do a little summer training session for 6 weeks down here. So I was down here most of the summer, but I got to go to the lake, going back home and stuff. But a lot of training going on.
That's nice.
Yeah.
How was training going? How's training going for yourself right now? And what was something you were working on, I guess, in the off season, getting ready for college?
Yeah, I think definitely with being with these girls down in Mankato, just like getting quicker, getting a harder shot, just getting used to the pace of the game. That was definitely helpful coming down here. So I think that was a lot of skating stuff I was working on.
Yeah, was that one of your game you were hoping to improve on the most, just like the skating aspect of it, or was there another area of your game you're trying to improve on? And are you still working on right now trying to improve that area of your game?
Yeah, now I'm kind of working on my shot from the blue line because I think last week and a half, my coach just changed me to defense from forward. So now I'm a defenseman. So now I'm kind of relearning how to shoot from really far away instead of being up at the net. So that's kind of working on that slap shot from the blue line now.
Yeah. Is it a hard adjustment in college to go from forward to defense just because you get more ice time as a defender, but you have to learn how
Right.
to skate backwards and you also have to there's other things you have to do like trying to keep the puck in the own zone more often and then having you have to get in those board battles more often as well.
For sure. I played defense all the way up to my eighth grade year in high school when I played for the high school team. I mean, but so I kind of have a area for that. I think back in my head that I remember, but definitely the speeds obviously changed from seventh grade. But no, it's definitely an adjustment. I'm still getting used to how to play the structure in the D zone and getting into those board battles. I think that's one of my favorite thing is just like battling the corners. I'm very defensive minded, so I think that's a good part of my game that I can really use now. So I'm really excited to see how I do back here.
Yeah, what's like your strategy for winning those board battles? Just because like it seems like there's a lot of like jabbing with the sticks. Do you try to like hold the person and like find the puck and like move it out into one of your offensive players?
I think I'm trying to play the body more and then find the puck. So it's kind of moving their body weight first, and then one of my teammates will come in and help me.
Hmm. Now, something that was introduced to college hockey this or last year was 3-on-3 overtime. My question to you is, how have you gotten used to that? Because that seems like a bit of adjustment for those overtime periods that you play.
Right. That's a good question. There's a lot of ice to play on, so it's a lot of open space, a lot of open time. I think I haven't really got a lot of playing time on the 3-on-3. That's usually our returners that get to do that, but it looks like it's a lot of fun to be out there with all that space. But yeah,
Yeah, and let's check yours. What's like the strategy, I guess, for 3-on-3 overtime? Because you have more space in the ice, but like you also want to keep it in the other team's zone and try to create plays, but also get line changes so their team can have tired legs. And I feel like that's a good strategy to have the other team have tired legs because I feel like they get more tired and then they get mentally tired and then eventually that leads to a goal scoring opportunity.
definitely. Yeah, we just did that again with St. Cloud. I think just our strategy is just to keep the puck as long as you can, like you said, so they get tired and get our line changed while we possess the puck still. But yeah, definitely.
Now, did you face any challenges preparing for this upcoming season compared to last year because the pandemic is still somewhat going on? Did you have trouble finding ice time and finding gyms, or was it a little bit better this past off season than a few off seasons ago?
Yeah, last season before my senior year, that was really tough. I feel like it's gotten easier, definitely. But this past summer, it was pretty easy. I think it was easing up. Like the COVID was getting a little better where I was from in Moorhead, so I got to get some ice time pretty frequently and work out and stuff. But then down here in Mankato, we got structured times where we would go skate and work out with the team. So that was super nice to have that, knowing that we would go do that.
Yeah, and did your mindset change this offseason knowing you're going to have more opportunities to have ice time and gym time compared to the previous one?
Yeah, I think just being mentally ready to go in there and get ready and get stronger and faster and better and just get ready for this little bit of adjustment. But I think my mindset's always been the same with just like being really ready, any kind of physical activity going for hockey. So if I work out, that's kind of the same mindset any other year.
Now, talk about your freshman class. What's it been like to prepare for them with them, and how have you gotten the chance to know your freshman class so far this year?
Yeah, my freshman class are awesome. We have a really small class actually. It's only three other ones. There's four with me included, but no, it's been really fun to get to know them and play with them. And now I'm back on defense with Jane Seifert, so that's been really cool to like be with her, and she's my roommate too. So no, it's been really good to get to know them. And I knew them before, but it's even closer now.
Yeah, how did you get the chance to meet them, I guess, before heading to college? Like, is it just like you see them in like other tournaments during the summer, or is it like you played against them at some point during your high school career?
Yeah, no, I think Minnesota's kind of its own little bubble and world, like everyone says, but um, all of us are from Minnesota except for Alexis Paddington. She's from Canada, but actually she's the one I got to play with the most. I played with her, I think my 10U and 12U years in a up north team. So I got to do that with her, and then I knew Jaden and Jess from just being down the cities and by Shattuck and stuff. So I got to play on teams with them. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
And
yeah.
talk about the upperclassmen. What's it been like to play with them, and just the leadership that they've possessed with the team, and how have they tried to help your transition into college hockey, especially players like Britton Fleming, who's been there for 5 years now, and Claire Butorak?
Yeah, our captains are awesome, and Jess Condis too. They're all great. Yeah, Britt's been a great powerhouse forward for us this year. She's been awesome leader for us and speaking out on stuff that we need to be talked about and stuff. Claire Butorak, she's awesome. She's my like big sister, as they call it. We kind of choose those before the year the freshmen do. So she's been a great like guide off the ice for me, just like talking through the mental stuff and just the adjustment. But they're all great. They're doing an awesome job as leaders.
Now, I want to transition a little bit and talk about the beginning of your hockey career and kind of work all the way up to where you are now with Mankato. So you're from Moorhead, Minnesota, like you mentioned before. So just talk about growing up there, and how did you start playing hockey?
Yeah. I know you just had Kara Worth on the podcast, so you kind of know a little about this, but Moorehead's a huge hockey town, as a lot of people know. So kind of just growing up around the rink, I actually started off as a figure skater. I think a lot of girls did, but yeah, that was just not for me. I'm just kind of a little more of a tomboy, I think, instead of figure skating. So I was like, fine, I guess I'll try out hockey. And so I guess kind of started there, just like being around the rink and watching people get all the pads on. I thought that was cool. And I think I was like around 7 when I was like, all right, I'm going to strap up in the hockey skates. But yeah, then going up from there, I just went through the boys program for a little bit there and then switched over to the girls program. And I got the opportunity to play my 8th grade year on the high school team, which is awesome. And I think that was just a great opportunity to play with those older girls and with Kara. Yeah, it was awesome. I loved playing hockey there. Such good memories.
Yeah, and what's it like playing boys hockey and then making that transition to girls hockey? Because talking to a lot of women's hockey players in college, most of them have had to play with boys growing up.
Yeah, I only did it for I think 2 or 3 years, so it really wasn't that much compared to a lot of the older girls. I think they did that for longer. But I really like playing with the guys. They're aggressive and fast. It's fun, but yeah.
And you mentioned Kara Worth, so I have to ask, what was it like getting to play with her for that 1 year when you were in 8th grade? It seems having her on the podcast, she seems super nice and a great leader, and now she's the coach of the team. So what's it like? What was
Yeah.
it like getting the chance to play with her at Moorhead for that 1 year?
Yeah, I loved Kara. She was such a good leader for me then too. And just like talking to her throughout my years growing up and leading up to college, she's been a great mentor of mine. And yeah, she's awesome. I love her so much. She's the best.
Now, before Minnesota State, you played for Shattuck St Mary. So I have to ask, how did you get the opportunity to go to Shattuck, and what led to that transition from Moorhead to the prep school route?
Yeah. Yeah, super. different story, I feel like, compared to other people. But Shattuck was just a huge, obviously huge hockey school. Everyone knew about it. And my dad was like, "Oh, like why not? Like we're like only like 4 hours away. Why not just go look at the school? Like it's so iconic, kind of thing." And I was like, "All right, why not?" Not even thinking that I'd like go to Shattuck. Would never thought I would. And then to go there, I get to practice with them at their 6 a.m., 7 a.m. practice, and get on the ice. And Coach Stafford was like, she can come. One of our girls is actually going to be on the South Korean team, the Olympic team that year in 2018. And I was like, what? And so kind of just all spun from that Grace Lee going to the Olympics. So I got a open spot there, and I got to go there my freshman year.
That's awesome. And what's it like going to that school and being a part of that historic program with so many legendary hockey players that went there before you did, like Brianna Decker, the Lamoureux twins? I think Mankato went there as well. So what's it like knowing that you're playing with those or knowing that you're kind of continuing that legacy that those players left?
Yeah, for sure. Being a part of that program is obviously a huge, like so important to people. And that was awesome to be a part of. Coach Stafford was such a great coach, and he coached a lot of those girls that you said. And even Brianna Decker came back and practiced with us a few times, like for a couple of weeks leading up to games and stuff when she was off. So that was really cool. She got to come skate with us. But it's such a great thing to be a part of. I loved it.
What's it like practicing with Brianna Decker? Because in my opinion, I think she's one of the best women's hockey players of all time. So was it cool to see just like how good she was when you were practicing with her and just what it takes to make it to that Olympic level?
Yeah, I mean, she's littler than I thought she'd be, but she is so fast. She's so quick. She shoots the puck hard. Like, she's a very talented hockey player. It was really cool to skate with her.
Now, how did your time at Shattuck help prepare you for college hockey?
Yeah, obviously the dorm life kind of helped with adjusting to that like style of life. So I was pretty used to that stuff, but also having those long seasons, like 60-game seasons, that really helped now with these weeks that are long hours on the ice and in the rink, working out kind of thing. So I was definitely used to that. So that really helped me adjust pretty seamlessly, honestly.
Yeah, so I had Artem Schlain on the podcast. He played for Shattuck as well, and he was telling me like there's like apartment buildings that players live in, or you can live like with your family like nearby the school. Like, how do you choose if you go to a dorm room, apartment, or like live with your family? How does it like work?
Yeah. No, yeah. So you can live either on or off campus. And it used to be that you could live with other people's parents, but then they switched it so you have to live with your own parent off campus. So if your parents or guardians can come and kind of live with you there, you can live off campus. But if they can't, you live in the dorms with all of your teammates and stuff.
Could you like live like in an apartment building like nearby? Like that's what I feel. That's why I heard a lot of players do that.
Yeah, some of the players definitely do that, but I think majority of the players just are in dorms on campus.
Mm-hmm. And what's the
Mhm.
dorm life like in high school versus college? Like, is it different or is it pretty similar?
No, it's very different. I even thought it was weird coming into our hall. It's a co-ed hall. So I was like, oh, there's boys on our hall. Like, this is weird because we always had a all-girl dorm and stuff. But no, it's definitely different. And last year with COVID, we had to be in our dorms by 8 p.m. And we were like really not happy about that. But
Mm-hmm.
we had to keep everyone safe and stuff. So I get it now, but definitely different.
Yeah, and you got to play with a lot of great players. In your time with Shattuck, you played with Mckenna Webster, Gwen Eichfeld, and Carson Zanella, just to name a few. So what was it like getting the chance to play with those players that are playing in D1 college hockey now?
Yeah, no, those are some good names. I'm good friends with those people. McKenna Webster, she's awesome. She's so talented. You can obviously see her at Wisconsin just doing so well. She has so many points already. She's so fun to play against. Even Casey O'Brien there too. She's a teammate of mine. Very talented. Gwen Eichfeld, she's in my grade, so I got to be with her all 4 years. She's fun to play with. She's fun to watch. She's a great person off the ice. I love her to death. And Carson Zanella, she's at BC now. I was just talking to her actually the other day, but no, she's awesome. I didn't get to play with her my last year because she went out east, but so I haven't seen her play in a while, but she's a really talented player too.
Yeah, and I feel like with McKenna Webster, like I felt like she was super underrated last year. Like she played very well, but like not a lot of people were talking about her. And now, since she's one of the leaders in the NCAA for points, now everyone's starting to talk about how great of a player she is. Is it cool kind of seeing how much of an adjustment she made from her freshman year to her sophomore year? Now she's like one of the best players in college hockey right now.
Yeah, it's so fun. Like even last year watching their games and stuff. But I really think she kind of made her debut in the playoffs last year. She started popping some goals at the end there and getting some more playing time, I think. I mean, I can't even imagine going into Wisconsin with all those players ahead of you and still getting a lot of playing time and getting some goals and stuff. That was awesome. And this year, she's obviously doing amazing. So it's fun to watch her. It's awesome.
Now, did you get to have like a normal graduation ceremony at Shattuck, or was it like last year where like it was kind of virtual?
No, we did actually get a ceremony. We had one outside. It was like 35 degrees. It was freezing in May. And we had our dresses on. It's kind of different at Shattuck. We wear these white long dresses instead of a cap and gown. So it was freezing for us. But no, I'm really happy. My family got to come out and watch me graduate, which some of the seniors before me didn't. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, and obviously last year was a very different year for everyone. But how did you adjust to kind of like the challenges of playing hockey in a pandemic with, I don't know if your team had an inconsistent schedule like it was in college hockey where you just didn't know who you were going to play. And then obviously you probably weren't playing in front of any fans. So how did you adjust to all of that?
Yeah, so I think we were quarantined 3 times for 2 weeks straight. So we had 6 weeks off of our season plus the 6 weeks that Minnesota shut down all rinks from in November and December. So that was a huge pause in our season. But no, most of the time we were pretty sure about our games and we had a pretty consistent schedule compared to everyone else. And so I think got 40 games in. So we got a lot more than most people had. And we got to go to nationals and stuff. So I think even though we weren't happy about a lot of the times we were in quarantine and stuff, I think we and eventually had a pretty normal season compared to everyone else.
And was academics somewhat normal or was it that all virtual?
Yes, most of the classes honestly were online, which I'm not the greatest at, so that was definitely a tough adjustment for me. But yeah, most of the classes were online, but we definitely had some in person too with staff and stuff.
Yeah. And right now everything's back in person in college, right? For yourself?
Yes, everything's back in person, but I think honestly things might be changing pretty soon with going to class in person. Hopefully not. I'm crossing my fingers, but
Yeah. Yeah, no, because for myself, like I graduated in 2020, so like I never had the experience of doing online classes in high school. So I kind of felt like bad for the juniors because like for 3 years they were used to doing like in-person classes. Then all of a sudden your final year of high school, you have to switch to the virtual classes. So I felt like that was a much bigger adjustment for the seniors in high school versus the freshmen in college like myself, just because going into college is such a new experience. Like doing online was kind of part of the adjustment.
right. No, it was yeah. I honestly always said this, but I thought we kind of got the bad end of the bargain. The juniors did that year, kind of because we didn't get a whole senior year. You guys kind of did get a little bit of it, but I still feel bad that you guys can graduate in person stuff. I can't imagine.
Yeah, I think it both ways because I didn't get a prom. There was no senior trip. No, like
True.
graduation was a lot different as well. So like all the fun stuff you get to do like as a senior, we didn't
Right.
do. It was more just like the normal like school stuff that we got to do. That's just from my experience. I don't know what it was like for
No.
other people. So I think
Yeah.
both juniors and seniors got screwed. I think the sophomores and freshmen were a little more lucky on that aspect of things.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, just talk about your best memory you've ever had at Shattuck. Hockey, was it hockey related or was it off the ice?
Oh. I definitely have a few, but one that sticks out. We went to Banff by Calgary, Alberta. So that was the prettiest probably tournament I've ever been to. That was so pretty out there with the mountains and the view. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's like one of the places on my bucket list. That looks awesome. Is it like, I don't know how to describe it, but is it like when you see it in person, it's just so different and kind of like, it's like just like it brings like a weird emotion out of yourself versus like seeing it in photos? Because I've always wanted to visit there. I just haven't had, I don't have really the time or money to do it right now.
No, yeah, yeah, pictures can't even put it into words. It's so beautiful, and Lake Louise was amazing. We got to go see that too. It's like a little Christmas town. It's like you're in a Christmas movie. It's so pretty.
Yeah. Did you go there in the wintertime? Because I don't know if you're allowed to skate on the lake or not.
Yeah, we went at the end of November, so we couldn't skate on it then. I think it was kind of thin then still. I can't really remember why we didn't, but it was cool.
Well, if you ever got to skate on that lake, that definitely would be like the best pond hockey ever. Like compared to nothing could compare to that just because it's such a big lake, but just the scenery is incredible.
Yeah, in between mountains. That would be something. That would be so cool.
They should do like I know NHL did the Lake Tahoe outside games last year. They should try to do it at Banff. I think that would be pretty cool. I don't know if they can do it or not because it's like a national park. I just think it'll be cool
Right.
to see.
No, that would be definitely super cool to see. They should definitely look into that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Now, transition kind of back to the recruitment process of things. So, what was your recruitment process like to Mankato, and why did you choose to go there versus other schools that you might have looked at the time?
Yeah, my freshman year, well, actually, backtracking in 8th grade, I think the first college I talked to was UND before they cut their program. So that was kind of out of the picture. That was kind of my dream school my whole life. But then, so I had to start looking around a little bit. Minnesota State called me first and wanted to talk to me. So I talked to them first, which is kind of crazy to think about now. But on my freshman year and sophomore year, I was kind of still just talking to people, see whatever, visiting campuses and all that kind of stuff, talking to coaches. And then I eventually find my way back around Mankato, and I was like, I love Minnesota. I want to stay in the WCHA, as a lot of other players say. And I was like, I love the campus, love the culture we got going with these players and stuff. So, yeah, I eventually just ended up here, and I'm really happy about it.
And Minnesota State's a hockey school, which some other schools can't say that, which I think is another kind of benefit to going there.
Yeah, I love being a part of like those schools that are kind of hockey driven because I just love the sport so much. It's fun to see the men's team have success too. So it's cool to be a part of.
Yeah, that's awesome. And also for the recruiting process, I have to ask, I feel like a lot of players, like when the first school that ever reaches out to them means a lot to them. Did you feel that way with Mankato just because like they were the first school to reach out to you? Did you have that kind of feeling like that meant a lot to yourself?
Definitely, it's definitely a whirlwind. Thinking back on that, like I was 14 and the college was telling you about hockey, like holy crap, this is the coolest thing ever, kind of thing. So it's weird to think that I was that young, but no, that's so special. I hold that really dearly to my heart.
Was the coach that contacted you still there? Because I know the assistants change a lot for college hockey.
Yeah, Coach Harrington was the one that called me first, and he's
Oh,
still here.
awesome.
So yeah, he recruited me. That was awesome.
Yeah, normally it's like the assistant coach. I think that's pretty cool that the head coach called you up first one too. I've actually never heard a story like that, so that's pretty cool.
No, yeah, it was super cool.
Now, I want to ask you about some of your teammates you get to play with Mankato, but before we get to that, I just have to ask you, what's it like playing in that stadium with fans this year, and just what was it like stepping out on the ice for the first time as a collegiate athlete, just because you've worked your whole life to get there?
Yeah, it's surreal, honestly. Like all the hours you put in and waiting to get to this elite level, and you're finally there, and you're skating out on the ice, like kind of like you made it. But yeah, it was surreal. And watching the hype video we made before the game, I get chills every time watching that at home. And that rink's so cool to play in. It's awesome. But yeah, it's surreal.
And Mankato, I just have to say, I saw the yellow. I don't know if they're alternate jerseys or not, but those things are absolute fire. What was it like
Yeah,
putting that on for the first time for those photo shoots? Because I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, those things look awesome.
yeah, those are our alternates, our goals. They're really cool. They're really cool to look at.
I think they might be the best alternates in college hockey at the moment. I might have to backtrack because I know Penn State released an alternate, but I don't know if they've worn them or not. So I think those are Penn State is one of the top one or two in my opinion.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think so too.
Now, I have to ask you about some of the teammates you get to play with, like I just said. So the first teammate I want to ask you about is Sydney Langsteth. I had her on the podcast last year. She's one of the best players in Mankato this year. What's it like getting the chance to play with her for your first year in college?
Yeah, she is a very talented hockey player. I sit next to her in the locker room, so we have a lot of chats and stuff. She's been a really good person talking to coming into here, and she's really been one of the people that I've talked to the most, just getting used to the team. She's helped us freshmen out a lot. She's a really good leader.
And another teammate I want to ask you about is your roommate, like you just said, Jaden Seitfert. What's she like as a teammate, both on and off the ice, and what's it like rooming with her?
Yeah, no, she's awesome. She's super fun to have in the room, and I'm really glad that she's my roommate. She's super nice. She's super kind and a hard worker on the ice. That's all you can ask for.
Awesome. Well, so now let's transition to the non-hockey segment of the podcast where I ask you some non-hockey questions just to get to know you a little bit more off the ice. So my first non-hockey question to you is, if you could do anything for a day that's non-hockey related, what would you do and why?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like maybe skydiving. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that. That's just my opinion. So you would have to go first to see what it's like and tell me about it before I try it.
I will. I like living on the edge a little bit.
Don't you have to like get a license to do that before like you go jumping off a helicopter? Or I don't know. I feel like there's some rules to it.
Do you? I don't know. You might. I haven't looked into it that hard, but I feel like that'd be cool.
I know for a fact you have to like jump with someone. Like you have to be strapped
Oh
to
yeah.
someone the first time you do skydiving. You can't just do it like once by
No,
yourself.
I wouldn't do it by myself. I wouldn't trust myself.
I don't know. I feel like it would like you would have to like talk to the person you're gonna be strapped on with before you go skydiving, just because that person's kind of your lifeline because they know like how to like get rid of the parachute and all stuff. So that's for me.
Seriously.
Like I would have to get to know like who I'm like jumping off with before I do skydiving.
Yeah, true. Now you're scaring me a little bit.
No, maybe yeah, I don't know. I would definitely try it. I just need to like make sure like I'm doing it the right way because if you mess one thing up, like that would not be good. So,
True. Very true.
but I don't know. I feel like it would be fun. You just have to find the right area where you're gonna land, all that stuff. Maybe I'm just planning
True.
it too much or thinking about it too much. But I feel like it'll be fun to do if I ever had the chance to do it.
Yeah. No, now it's kind of sounding scary.
Now, next non-hockey question is, if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
I mean, rest in peace, but I think Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but just I've always looked up to him with like his Mamba mindset and stuff. I thank him if I could.
Yeah, that would definitely be a cool conversation. My favorite like Kobe moment was like when they were up 2-0 in the NBA Finals, and the guy's like, "Why aren't you smiling?" He's like, "What's there to smile about? Job's not done." And I feel like I wish more athletes were like that, just because like you shouldn't be celebrating until you get the job done. So that's like one Kobe thing that I try to do myself. I think it's awesome.
Definitely, he's such a huge role model of mine.
Now, speaking of your teammates, who is the funniest teammate you have at Mankato?
Oh, there's definitely a few that come to mind, but I think Charlotte Ackervick, number 8.
What does she do that's funny? I'm just curious.
I couldn't even tell you. Just the way she talks and does stuff and impersonates people, it's pretty funny to me.
Now, who is the best trash talker on the team?
Ooh, trash talker. Maybe Danny England. Number 43. I don't know.
Because I feel like no one really talks about trash talking in women's hockey. I feel like people think it's more associated with men's hockey, but I feel like there has to be trash talking in women's hockey if I had to guess.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, she definitely gets the chirps going in the games and gets a little interesting, so it's fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Which teammate would you give the aux cord to if you had to choose?
Ooh. Brooke Bryant's our main guy or main girl in the locker room, but I'd say Brooke Bryant.
Nice. What type of stuff does she play? Does she like have to ask everyone? Because I feel like if you're the DJ person in the team, you have to get like everyone's taste involved with the playlist.
She plays a lot of different kinds of music, but I think she more plays what she's gonna play. She takes a few requests sometimes.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Now you have the best style on the team, but besides yourself, who has the best style in Mankato?
Oh, I think maybe Britt Funmy has some pretty good hockey style.
Nice. Any off-ice style that's good, or
Claire Butterack has some good game day fits. I like hers.
nice. That's awesome. Now, next non-hockey question is, speaking of the aux cord, what music do you like to listen to personally for yourself?
Oh, I like a lot of stuff. I like everything. I like oldies, rap, country, all of that stuff. I really like everything.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have like a playlist of like each genre. So whatever mood I'm in, I just put that one on so I don't have to like search through songs constantly. I don't know if you do the same thing.
No, yeah, I do the same thing. And if I can't figure out what I want to listen to, it's just like songs on Spotify. I'm just shuffling the whole time.
Yeah, that's how I do it too. I think that's
Yeah.
that's kind of the way to go in my opinion. I feel like I don't know how people can just listen to one particular style of music. It makes no sense to me.
No, I don't get that either. I agree.
Now, what sports do you like to watch besides hockey? Is it basketball because you're a Kobe Bryant fan, or is there another one?
Honestly, kind of ironic. I don't like watching basketball, so
Mhm.
that's what's kind of funny about that. I just like how his mindset and how he like thinks of the game and stuff. But my favorite, other than hockey, is probably either like football or volleyball. Those are pretty fun to watch.
I've never watched volleyball before, so I can't say anything about that. But I definitely am a big football fan. From New England, I'm a Patriots fan. I know people are gonna be booing me, but that's my
Yeah.
team.
Really, you've never watched volleyball?
Never seen it before. I've flipped by it on TV before, but I've never like sat down and watched a game. It looks intense, though. I will say that there's a lot of screaming that goes on.
No, they're fun to watch. It's back and forth the whole time, so it's fun to watch.
I feel like I would like beach volleyball. That seems super fun as well. I don't know if you've
I
ever
feel like
seen
it's
that.
harder. No, yeah, I feel like it's harder in Olympics, just like trying to run around in the.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think the Olympics have some really unique sports, in my opinion. Like I liked I'm trying to think of like fencing. That was a cool Olympic sport that I remember watching. But I didn't watch any of last year's Olympics just because it was like at 3 in the morning.
Oh yeah, and bobsledding too. I think that was kind of a weird one too.
Oh yeah. Well, Winter Olympics are coming up, believe it or not. So bobsledding is probably the best one to watch just because I
True.
like how they like have the guy just jump in and then they like go down like a tube. I think that it looks so fun. I want to try it sometime.
No, yeah, it does.
Now, last non-hockey question for you is, well, kind of a last few. So obviously, when we're recording this before Thanksgiving, but when it's released, it's going to be around the holiday season. So I have to ask, what's the best Christmas song, or what's the worst Christmas song?
Oh, best. What's the one? All I Want for Christmas Is You. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, the one with
Definitely.
Mariah Carey.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely a classic. The worst one, Feliz Navidad. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah. Oh no, I feel like the Mariah Carey song, like first of all, she probably makes a ton of money from that every year. So if I ever need to make a cash grab, I would totally just make a Christmas song because I can just make some good money from that each year if I had
For
some musical
sure.
talents. Best Christmas song, it has to be like it's one of those old like Frank Sinatra ones, like I don't know like how to describe it, like Silver Bells, one of those
Oh
ones
yeah.
that just puts you in your feels a little bit. But the worst Christmas song, in my opinion, is "Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time" by Paul McCartney. Now, I'm a huge Beatles fan, but that's by far his worst song ever, and I hate hearing it. It's so annoying. I don't understand how he's a great musician, but I don't know. He made a terrible song for that, and I don't
Yeah,
understand
not
like
that
why
one.
people like that. I think it's the worst song ever.
Not a hit.
No, it is technically a hit, but not in my book.
Right.
So, and then I guess last non-hockey question on the theme of the holidays: what's the best Christmas present you've ever received?
Hmm. Uh oh, definitely. We every year when we were younger, my mom would always uh like do a little scavenger hunt for our like big present or whatever that was that year. So it'd be like look under the pillow and you'll find the next clue kind of thing. So we did that and it was a hockey stick wrapped up.
That's
That was a
awesome.
huge one. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like every hockey player, that's like the best gift is the stick, just because they're so a good one is hard to find.
Right. Definitely when you're younger too, getting those like top dollar is like
Oh yeah.
unreal.
I think for me it was probably like I think I got Bruins tickets one year. That was pretty cool. Getting the chance to
Yeah,
go to an NHL game. So that's for my that in my opinion was probably the best gift I received. So
that's a good one.
now back to some hockey questions. Now, my first one is: what advice would you give to the younger players that are listening to this podcast about what it takes to make a D1 hockey team in college hockey?
Yeah. I mean, do what you love and if you love it, just keep working hard and then everything will come with that.
Now, what should be done to help grow women's hockey in your opinion? I know the Olympics are coming up. I feel like that's a good kind of year to kind of help promote it. I know one of your teammates, Anna Wilgren, is on the Olympics roster right now. So what do you think should be done to help grow women's hockey during the Olympic years, but also when the Olympics aren't going on, just to kind of keep that same like conversation going about the sport?
Yeah, I've had a lot of conversations about this actually. I've thought about this a lot, but I definitely think the Olympics is where it should start. I think that's just a huge platform for girls hockey to be seen. But just with these professional leagues like the PWHPA and the NWHL kind of being separated, I feel like we can't have two leagues right now. I think women's hockey is too small to have two leagues really. And I understand that the players are trying to get what they deserve and like the money and stuff, but I think there needs to be something done.
Mhm.
I don't know what, but I think something needs to change. I
Yeah.
think women's hockey is really fun to watch.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think, so in my opinion, I think it starts off in the college level because no matter what goes on in professional hockey, there will always be women's college hockey. And there's a lot of
Right.
great players in women's college hockey. So if you promote the college game, more people will want to follow those players once they turn pro, which will ultimately help build a stronger professional league, which that's just my opinion. I might be wrong, but I feel like that's a good way to start. At least
No, I
that's how
definitely
I feel.
agree. That's for sure.
Now, do you have any shout outs you'd like to give to any of your family members, teammates, friends, anyone who doesn't play hockey that you know and talk to? I've mentioned a few people throughout this podcast, but if I forgot to mention someone, feel free to shout them out.
Shout outs. Definitely. I guess my parents were sending me off when I was little. I don't know. Kara Worth. I'll do her again. She's awesome.
And if there's anything, any last words before the interview ends, just anything you want to say to the fans that are listening or family members or any message, anything you want to plug in. I don't know if you're doing any of that stuff, but this is the time to do it if you want.
No, I think that's all for me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Shelby. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I wish you all the best for the rest of the season. I know you're going to do great, and hopefully I get the chance to see you play in person if you guys ever come back out east. That would be super fun. But keep killing it. I know you're doing great.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good Thanksgiving.